right, everybody. Big welcome to everybody here. This is a presentation brought to you by DAS Trader and the #1 Best Trader competition, empowering active traders. Welcome to our #1 Best Trader competition question and answer. And also, we're going to be talking about the DAS Trader platform. We're going to do a complete review of the DAS Trader platform. And we're going to talk a little bit about the different styles of trading, different intraday styles of trading, since this is an intraday trading competition. And then, of course, we're going to go through some of the rules of the competition and then bring it all home with a Q&A session. So anything that you might like to know, any questions you might have, anything that you'd like answered, I can certainly take a shot at it. So on that note, let's jump right in and let's do a quick review of the DAS Trader platform. I'm just going to switch screens to my DAS Trader, and hopefully everybody can see my DAS Trader platform. Just give me a quick affirmation. Just say yes if you can see my DAS Trader Pro platform. All right, great. So I want to just start off and cover a few things. Notice I have my level 2 screen right here, to the side in the bottom right-hand corner. I have one big main chart. I'll also have my daily chart here off to the side. I can kind of switch this very easily into my 5-minute chart. I do have a couple of indicators on here. I have my CCI up top. I have my MACD on the bottom. I have my price chart with moving averages and volume. I also have my market view, which has my Dow Jones Industrial. Now, notice when I click on it, it's not linking to my other windows, right? So one of the most important things in any charting application is linking your charts to your level 2, so that you can quickly go through the charts and your level 2 screen. So all you do in DAS Trade, it's really super simple. You just grab the anchor and drag and drop it. And then there you go. You have it right there linked in there. Okay. So there you have it. We now have the S&P. Now notice there on an index, there is no volume. So let's just delete this little line. So we're going to delete this row, right? And then I'm going to insert new row, new row, new row, new row. Okay, there's your in Dow Jones Industrial, there's your S&P, there's your comp. Okay, so we got everything in here. So I'm going to just show you something else. So I of course like to look at the indexes, but I also like to use tradable vehicles. So like the Dow Jones would be equivalent to the DIA. So now I can look at the index, or I can trade the DIA. And notice I'm going to keep them in the order that my indices are. So the SPY, the spiders, is the equivalent to the SPX. And the comp, which is the NASDAQ, is the QQQ. Now, just a couple of other things. I'm just going to link this here to there, so I can click on the SPY. And now look, I can very quickly go through and browse through my charts. I can look at Microsoft. I can look at Google. I can look at the QID, which is the inverse. So now the other thing I can do, okay, is I can actually move these up, okay? So I can kind of drag and drop and move these various different symbols, and I can organize my symbol list, okay? Or I could just delete it, delete, and then I can put delete, and then I can put them in any order, just plug and play them in there by adding a new row. Delete. All right, so you got Google, you got USO, MRO, Oxy. Okay, so we got a bunch of stocks in there, right? And obviously, if I want to trade any of the inverses as well, right? So I got all my main ones, okay, and I put a space between my my indexes, and then I can add a new row in. Okay, I got to do one up. New row. Okay, let me take these out, delete these rows. Delete. Okay, so delete. Okay, so I got those in there. I'm gonna just add new row, new row, new row, new row. Okay, so now I'm gonna just put in a space, and I'm gonna put in again. So I have the indexes themselves, indices. I have the ETFs, and then now I'm gonna put in the inverse. I don't remember what the inverse of the Dow was, but certainly I remember it's the SDS is one of the inverses for the S&P, and the QID is the inverse for the NASDAQ. Okay, so then I have Microsoft here. So below, I'm going to have Microsoft. I'm going to add Amazon. And then, of course, I'm going to add another one of the big tech stocks, which is Apple. Right. So I got my list of stocks that I'm going to be trading. Now, there are some stocks that are traditionally always very popularly traded in the competition. So like stocks like AMD is kind of one of the most commonly traded. Intel's been getting a lot of action these days. NEO and NIO, I believe NEO gets a lot of action as well. Certainly, you know, everybody's been talking about GameStop, GME, and of course AMC, which is the theater company. Even Nokia has been getting a lot of action. So this is an intraday trading competition. So you want to have your list of stocks kind of all configured. And the one thing I always recommend to everybody is while you're making changes to your platform, always remember to save regularly. So hit save desktop. I'm going to call it Mike Comp. Okay, so this is my Mike's competition layout. Okay, so now the other thing I would recommend when you're configuring your DAS platform is, so you got a news window over here. Don't ever let anything take up too much space on your desktop. Okay, so don't ever let anything take up too much space on your desktop. You know, this, and you can always have things overlap, right? So I can have my chart window overlap over the desktop. Okay, and I can also have, yeah, so I always use dark mode. Okay, I always use dark mode because I've been looking at screens for 23 years. And when you've looked at screens for 23 years, your eyes start to get a little bit like, from the brightness of the white background, it starts to get like a little bit, you know, difficult to look at white glaring screens all day long for 23 years. So, all right. So let's see if I can remember how to get to that setting. Okay. It's one of these things where you don't usually set it too often. So you go to quotes, you go to admin. The admin, it would be setup. It would go setup, not trading setups, tools, screen recorder, system notes. Of course, you're going to ask me the one thing that I don't do very often, which is change to dark mode, because I've been in dark mode for all the years that I've been on DAS. So let me get back to you on that one. I think I have, let's say, what are confirmations, network hotkeys, trading settings. Let's see if it's in trading settings. Or just go to configure file. Let's see. Account reporting, allocations. These are all trading requirements. Admin, setup, network, other configuration, I believe is where it is. Okay. So I'm pretty sure dark mode is in other configuration, but I'm going to look right now and see if it's there. I'm pretty sure it's under setup. Hotkey, trading settings. It's not under trading settings. Huh. I'm going to get back to you on that one because I don't see it in any of the basic. Yeah, no, it's definitely on the web, but you can definitely switch. It's pretty easy. It's just one of these buttons up here, and then you find the switch to dark mode. Oh, there it is. Found it. Right. So I just found it for you. There you go. So it goes to, you go to setup, other configuration, and then you go down to the bottom, which is right there. It says theme. And then you just choose dark mode. So you got dark mode and you got blue mode. So let's go to blue. Blue's pretty good, by the way. Yeah, but we find it. I don't do it. I don't switch back and forth very often. So, I mean, look at blue. Blue is very pretty, but to me, the one that looks the coolest is by far. Let me just show you the default. Here's white, which if you look at this all day, it's very bright, right? So now you go to setup, other configuration, and then you go to dark. And by far, for me, this is by far the coolest looking layout, right? When you're in the dark mode, it's really, really cool. All right, so let's go to, these are your different routes that you have available to you. Now, the next thing that is the most, they say something about like 65% of the trader's user experience is in charts. So for me, having my charts configured properly is great and super important. So I'm a big user of indicators. For many years of my trading career, I did not spend a lot of time on indicators. But when I actually learned how to use the indicators, I then made chart layouts for everything, right? So here is a chart. I can very quickly pop up on the QQQ, on my daily chart, I can very quickly pop up and look at the Bollinger Band by going to load settings. And then I can go to this is my RSI and my MACD. Now, if I want to put it, I have the CCI on this one, right? If it's too much, so I have the RSI here, I got the MACD here. If it's too much, right, I can just click on this one because I got the RSI over here. I can always just drop out the RSI real fast, but just by hitting delete chart section. And this one also has the volume by price on my chart as well. So this is a great daily chart setup. And then this is a real, I'm just going to get rid of this chart section because I don't need that much. On an intraday chart, you don't necessarily need that many indicators. You know what, I'll just leave it. But I think it really looks cool that you have the daily with all these indicators on there. And then I have my my intraday on here as well. Now, the next thing I want to show you, which is really important, is just data config. Is you just click on there for show pre and post market. If I unclick that, now I don't have any pre and post market data on there. So now I just have the session data. Okay. So right click, go to data config, and then I click it. And then boom, I got pre and post market data on there as well. Now notice how low volume it is on the pre and the post market. Okay. So these are my just to summarize all my recommendations for using the Dash Trader platform. So I like to have one line chart of just the main market that I'm trading. So that's the NASDAQ in this case. I can also switch very easily between my market view by setting up all the stocks that I want to trade regularly in my market view. Now, if you have more screen space, you can stretch this up and put more stocks in there. Okay. And I have my indexes, I have my ETFs, I got some inverse ETFs. And then, of course, I got my stocks that I like to trade. And I linked everything together so that they can pop up in my charts very quickly. We call that populate our charts very quickly. So I'm going to shrink this back down. Okay. Got my news as well. Okay. So now by clicking this little anchor, notice I got all the Amazon news up there. Okay. Now I got all my GME news up there. So everything is nicely linked together. So now that I got my Dash Trader software all linked together, now I'm going to cover some of the styles of intraday trading. So intraday traders have a number of key styles, right? One style of intraday trading is just technical day trading, which would be like looking at the 5-minute chart, looking for buy setups, sell setups, bull flags, bear flags, looking for technical patterns. And you're sitting there all day in front of your computer on your select list of stocks. And, a lot of times we'll do our scanning through the daily. So here is my daily chart of GameStop. There's really nothing that I see here that would be a daily setup right now. Definitely there was a daily setup 2 days ago, 3 days ago, when it came back and kissed the rising 50-period moving average there around 140, 120. Certainly that would have been a great daily setup for us to get into. And of course, if I scan back, I'm just going to remove my data from my pre and my post market. Going to remove my data config, select little box, So that you could see right there when it came back, it kissed back to the 120. And then we had a very, very strong upward move from 120 till it hit that 200, 210 area. Certainly a great run there. That was on the daily chart. Now let's take a look at AMC, if there's any setups on AMC. AMC, very similar to GameStop, kind of pulled back, came near the 20. Certainly that would have been an intraday setup that I'd be watching for. NEO has gotten obliterated lately after having run up into the 60s, but now it's kind of put into a bottom and a double bottom. So I'll identify my possible daily chart setup, right? So because it's kind of scrunching down for 3 days, what I'll do is I'll go into, let's say, my 15-minute chart, and I'll draw a trend line. Okay, so I'm going to draw a trend line from here on my 15-minute chart. And now we've gotten a trend line break. So NEO is going to be one that I'm going to be watching for upside, certainly tomorrow, because it's broken the 15-minute downtrend line. It's kind of far away from its moving averages, far away from its point of control on the volume by price. So the point of control is at 42. So the stock's now currently at 35.40. So from 35.40 up to 42, which is the point of control, the most of the volume has been accumulated at 42. It should snap back. That would be a good setup for a mean reversion trade. Okay, let's take a look at MRO. MRO, again, that same setup, that same pattern as GameStop and AMC, coming back to the rising 50-period moving average, bounce off the rising 50, and certainly a move back towards its point of control. Well, point of control is way down here, but certainly a move back towards its moving averages. Let's take a look at FCX. This was one of another one that's at 32.10, and I mean, I don't really see any setup on FCX. So, but certainly I would go through all my stock charts and try to find any that have some setups forming on the daily. So that would be intraday technical day trading. Another style of trading would be gap trading. And that's a really, I mean, that is a great style of trading for you to identify some good trading opportunities. And I'm just going to bring up one of the ways that we can do that. So in Dash Trader, we have a great, if you requested it, if you have never requested it, and I'm not sure if it's in everybody, but it's called Trade Signal. Here is the trade signal. You have a gap up list, and you can set up a gap down list. And each day, right, as long as that setup is enabled, it'll pop up on your screen, and it'll generate all the stocks that have gapped up or gapped down. Okay, and you can configure that trade signal scanner to find runners, droppers, right, risers, fallers, volume pre-market, price above, price below. And you can kind of create all these pre-configured scans using your Dash Trader so that you can identify gapping stock opportunities. So that would be gap trading. Another style of trading is scalping. So the key to scalping is really finding a really active stock. So, you know, the one that I certainly like to scalp and have been scalping lately, we have talked about this one quite a bit, is NEO. It's come far off its highs, but it's kind of leveled off. And this is a stock that trades a tremendous amount of daily volume. It's got 82,800,000 shares traded a day. That's NEO. Another one that has a really good scalping potential, it's a little bit more pricey, is AMD at $77 a share. That trades 37 million shares a day. But like any stock that has high volume, like GE, for instance, has 53 million shares a day. Ford has 44 million shares a day. So any stock that has high volume, you can use that as a scalping stock. And all you're really looking to do with scalping is just use your chart to identify levels of support and resistance, and then scalp between those levels. Okay. Certainly, you know, this the chart on Ford is kind of stuck in its moving averages, so it's probably not going to move far against you, but you literally just bid at, let's just say I would be looking to bid somewhere around 1210, which would be down here in my level 2. And then I'd be looking to offer somewhere around 1215. And if I could get out of 1220, 1218, 1219, 1220, there's a very solid chance that during the course of the trading day, and I'm just going to pop this into a 5-minute chart, it's going to trade between that 1207 to 1215 level, as well as from 1220 to 1224 level. So there's a very good chance that it's going to stay ping-ponging within these levels inside of that range. Okay, so that's scalping. Okay, and another thing that you can use to help in your scalping is certainly look at your CCI. So the CCI is giving me a good indicator, right? So let me just use my rectangle. So the CCI gave me a good signal here as a buy. CCI gave me another good signal here. Just zooming in so we can see it a little bit better. So CCI gave me another good signal here. Right, and by the way, the sells, the outs, the out would be somewhere up here. Okay, so that's your out. And of course, your out would have been somewhere up here. And that's how you'd be looking to scalp using something like Ford. I mean, if you do 5,000 shares and you do 5,000 shares in the competition and you make 10 cents, I mean, that's consistent. You have 1, 2, maybe 3 solid opportunities. And I mean, you're putting on the trade, you're watching it, but you don't really have to worry about it too much because there's very low likelihood that Ford's going to get, is going to run away from you too far. All right, so that's pretty much the 3 main styles. And I just want to recap real fast. We have intraday day trading, which is looking for high odds technical patterns. And then obviously, waiting for those patterns to set up, getting into the trade, have an entry, a stop, and a target, and then managing in between. Gap trading, looking for stocks that are gapping up and gapping down. Generally in gap trading, we're looking for stocks that are gapping up above resistance to gap and go, stocks that are gapping into resistance to gap fade, stocks that are gapping down onto support to gap fade, stocks that have gapped down through support to gap and go down. So remember, those are the 4 things that we're looking for on gap trading. Best to have a scanner set up for gap trading. Last style of intraday trading is scalping. It's a very active style of trading, and you're just kind of looking and identifying in the middle of the day, from 10:30, 11 o'clock till the end of the day, you're looking to just play the trading range, make 5, 10, 15 cents, ping pong it back and forth. Okay, so I'm going to jump back to the presentation for 2 seconds, and then we're going to go through the rules of the trading competition. Does anybody have any questions before I leave my trading platform? Any questions on the styles of trading? Any questions on the platform? We already showed you how to. Get into the dark mode. Big welcome to Todd. Big welcome to I want to say it's Pow NY or Pony. Not sure. Anybody have any questions on the styles of trading on the Dash platform? Certainly, this is also going to be available afterwards. For anybody who's just joining us, we went through and found out, or I showed you how to change the mode. You go to setup, other configuration, and then you go to dark mode if you want to get your platform in dark mode the way mine is. The other thing I would really recommend, and I'm just going to close that up for a second, I'd really recommend that you save your desktop regularly. This is Mike's competition desktop. Hit save. Okay, you also should create any layouts, right? Any layouts, right? Any layouts that you want with the chart indicators that you want on the layout. This one's got the CCI, the RSI, the MACD, right? I like indicators. Not everybody uses a lot of indicators, but certainly I find indicators helpful for staying in trades. I would say that that's probably getting into trades. So indicators serve 2 purposes. They're a filter to filter out bad trading ideas. Okay, it's an added level of analysis. And then it's also a great decision support tool as to stay into the trade if you want to stay in the trade longer. So that's pretty much all I have to say on indicators, the Dash Trader platform, and the styles of trading. If anybody has any questions, certainly I can go back. I'm going to go now and switch to the competition rules. All right, so let's just jump right into the trading competition rules. No overnight positions will be allowed during this competition. This is a novice trading competition. Therefore, your trading style is deemed, therefore, if your trading style is deemed to be gaming or professional, you will be disqualified. Now, what does that mean, gaming, right? Like you're just trading low volume stocks or penny stocks. Individuals may not hold short or long positions, hold short and long positions in the same stock at the same time. We used to call that shorting against the box. But you can't do that. You can't be long and short the same stock. Traders may not trade low float securities. Low float securities are stocks that have very, very low trading volume. Traders may also not trade stocks that are not shortable. So if you can't short them at your broker, you can't short them in the competition either. Traders may not engage in manipulative trading practices such as layering, spoofing, front running, bear rating, cornering, wash trading, painting the tape, etc. Obviously, we are expecting you just to trade based off of the market data in your platform, not using your live account to play any other games and shenanigans. I think that would be stupid anyway, not to put it too bluntly, but certainly, the point of this is for fun. It's for education. It's for educational purposes. There's a lot to be learned from the trading competition. The best way to learn is to treat this like it's real. I believe that it's less than 1 million shares a day. But maybe Brianne, what is the actual minimum volume for low float securities? I believe it's like less than 1 million shares a day. Competition rules continued. So this is in equities, U.S. equities, and ETFs, exchange traded funds. Options, futures, E-minis are not permitted in this competition. Each trade is limited to 2,500 shares per order. So you couldn't do a 5,000 share order on Ford, but you could do 2,500. So scalping certainly is valuable. Scalping is anything more than 1,000 shares. Usually you're scalping 1,000 shares or a round lot of 500 if it's a higher price stock. Traders may not hold more than $50,000. So a stock like Ford, you could definitely hold 2,500 shares. $50,000 worth of your position you can in each security, so you can have multiple trades going, but not more than 50,000 in each position. All accounts must be flat before 4 p.m. Eastern time on the final day of the competition. So make sure you get out of all your trades, at the end of the competition. For more details on the rules and the guidelines, you may also visit numberonebesttrader.com at any time before, during, or after the competition. Be sure to continue to take advantage of our boot camp period. That means that you can continue to use your demo platform to use the platform, learn more about the platform, and trade. So can we filter stocks to avoid non-shortable and low float items? I mean, it's just not going to allow you to trade them. And if they're not allowing you to trade them, then obviously you can't trade them. I mean, certainly the ones that you can't short, you're not going to be able to short a stock that's not shortable. So the system is really going to allow you to, if the system is, there will be some exceptions to this, obviously. But for the most part, what you can trade on the system, as long as you're not holding overnight, you should be fine. I wouldn't get too caught up on the rules. Sometimes people will complain that they can't trade something that the system is not allowing them to trade. And they'll say, if I would have made this trade, I would have won the competition because I had this great trade and I couldn't trade it on. If it's not in the competition, it's not allowing you to trade it, then just best that you stay away. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like me to answer? I can go back to the DAS platform if you'd like me to answer any of your questions. And that also goes about trading too. So if you have any questions about your trading or what you think you should do, for me, the best thing you can do is always treat this competition like it's real. What I've noticed is just making money every day, just consistently making money, treating it like it's real and shutting it off is the best way to make money trading. You make your 300, your 500, you stay green at some point. So here, you may not trade low float securities, stocks with less than 5% of the outstanding shares to float ratio. And you can get that from the number one best. Thank you so much, Brianne. All right. The other thing I want to just point out is that there is the #1 best trader website, and it has the leaderboard with the most common. Great place to get trading ideas is from the #1 best trader leaderboard, and as seeing what the other traders are trading. Great place to trade it, to get the ideas from as well. Does anybody have any other questions, comments, considerations? If not, I will thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you in the competition. Also, stay tuned for my upcoming series on the styles of trading. I also have an upcoming, yes, all week. This is the boot camp period. So we're opening up the boot camp period. You can trade all week on the software until the competition begins. Todd, great seeing you too, man. Long time no speak. Let's catch up, buddy. One of my former students, Mr. Todd Miller from Colorado, right? Still in Colorado? Great to see you, brother. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Look forward to seeing you in the competition, and the best of luck to you all. Have a great, great afternoon. Go Colorado. Now everybody thinks everybody is, I'm not even going to go there in Colorado. But it's great seeing you all. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Go Queens, right, Ebert? Queens, New York. All right. Bye, everybody.